Do you know how much off-center mint errors are worth? Stay tuned and I'll show you. My name is Daniel and this is Coin Help You YouTube channel. Please like, share, and comment, and click the little bell beside the subscribe button. Today we're going to find out how to look for off-center mint error values. Off-center mint errors occur whenever the coin or the planchet is not completely seated in the coining chamber. When that happens, it gets struck. Part of the coin's not struck. Okay, so you get what looks like is basically an elliptical design. You're going to be missing some of the design. How much of the design that you're missing depends on how far it's off struck. One of the things to note when it comes to value, if it doesn't have a date, it's worth less than a coin that has a full date. And that's very important to note, because you're going to look up values here in a minute and you have to know the percentage that is off center and if it has a date or not. Okay, here we're on my website. I have some images of Lincoln cents and Indian cents that are struck off center. A lot of people run into more Lincoln cents that are struck off center than any other coin. So that's one of the things I'm going to kind of focus on, but it's not the only. Now, what we have, first off, when you are looking for the values, you want a date, a full date. If you don't have a full date, it's not worth as much. It's also going to be dependent on the coin type. A wheat cent off center is going to be worth more than a zinc planchet copper plated off center. And that's one of the things that you need to know. And then also you need to understand that the more off center it is, the more it's going to be worth as well. So here we have pretty much your 20% off center, maybe a little bit more off center on these two here. This one about 50%, this one maybe 65%. It's it just in varying degrees how much they're struck off is how much they're going to be worth. Like you got here pretty much 90%. So you're kind of looking at degrees basically. Most people can tell what a half is, so if you go on either side of that, a little variation. But to be exact is not going to be important unless you're sending it off to have it graded, and they'll assign it percentage wise. What we want to do when we're looking for values, if you have a raw off center and it's just a Lincoln cent or just a common date, I recommend going to eBay. And when you go to eBay, you're wanting to go to coins and paper money, and you want to type in off center, and when you hit that search, you're going to come up with some auctions here. Now you don't want to stop there. You want to go on down to sold items. When you go to that, then what you're looking at is actual auctions that have sold. And as you can see, if it doesn't have the date, these are not going for very much, the full date. If they have the full date, they start increasing in value, but you also have to understand these two are modern. And these modern off centers are not worth a bunch of money. So we're looking at something that's worth in the $10 range if you include the shipping that people had to pay to get these. Here's a perfect example. Here's a wheat cent. You don't find these very often, the 20S off center. It sold for $205 with free shipping. Then here's a nickel. It sold for $26.98. See, it all depends on if the year is not known for off centers very much. It all depends, like I said, whether the date's there or not, or part of the date. And it all depends on the denomination. Like I said, most of these are going to be Lincoln cents. A lot of people are finding the Lincoln cents. Now, if you're curious on other types, you just put that in. Just put a nickel in. If you got a nickel off center, that makes it a little bit easier, and you can see how much they're going for. And this is another thing. Real minor ones like this, that could be a misaligned die. If they don't, I don't know. I'm not clicking on it, but you got to watch. It has to be off center on both sides. If you have off center on one side, it's a misaligned die, so there's a difference there. So anyway, we're looking down and we see the nickels, and you can see dimes, you can see different things. And even though this is older, it's just barely off a little bit, so it's not going to increase the value a lot. But since it is a nice looking coin, it's sold for that, $99.95. And we can go on up and we can look up, half dollars if we want to. And here, you can see what they're going for, what people are trying to sell them for. A lot of these up here, these are sponsored. When you see sponsored, that's not what it's sold for. It's no different than when you do a Google search on this and you see an Etsy ad for it. It doesn't mean it's worth that much. Etsy's real bad about having their ads up there, and they do not do anything about the people who are trying to sell this stuff for thousands of dollars. It's not worth it. I think they care more about their clicks and their views and their rank than they care about actually having quality products up there at a reasonable price. So here you got your Kennedy halves that are just slightly off. If you have one that's off a lot, you know, off center, struck a lot, it's worth money. I mean, here you go. Here's an example. It's not off a lot, but it's off enough to where you're missing some of the L here and some of the date. $102. Now, if you have a graded example, and typically your higher denominations are going to be more rare, what you want to do is you want to go to Heritage Coin Auctions, Stacks and Bowers. You can go to Legends. But I go to Heritage Coin Auctions and kind of get an idea. What you want to do, you want to come up here, type in off center, go to their errors, and you want to go to view their past auctions. And once you do that, you want to sign in. And you have to sign in each time you want to see this. That's how Heritage logs you out. And you log yourself back in. And by the way, this is free. It doesn't cost anything to have an account with Heritage to view their auctions. So here we go. You know, if you've got different ones like a quarter, Indian cent, and it shows you. You know, an Indian cent, like you want what you're looking for. This is not just it's actually a double struck second strike. Okay, you're looking for off center, so you don't want to mix that up. This one struck off center, 75%, 120 bucks. A Buffalo nickel, which you also have to understand if it's a better date or a better grade. The grade has a lot to do with the value as well. I mean, you've got a 1918 Buffalo nickel that's mint state 63. That's already going to be worth some money. Add the off center to it and it adds a little more value to it. Now, Eisenhower dollars, since they're so large and they're easy to spot when you find one like this, so therefore whenever you do see one, and it's more rare, it's harder to get, so the values increase. Even though, you know, graded 65 is still a decent grade. You know, and that's another thing that I tend to have a problem with. I didn't want to bring it up here too much, but you know, when you start looking at coins like that and you see those marks, it's hard to believe it actually got mint state 65. I guess that was just based on the cheek, on the actual design, and not on the part that's not struck. So as we go down through here, you can actually pick over here at the side what grade you want. Here's you got a Sacagawea dollar. That one's, you know, no date, but since it's really rare to see one like that, it actually has an indent right here, then it's worth a bunch of money. I mean, we're talking over $2 grand. So hopefully this helped you find out what an off-center cent or coin of any type or denomination is worth. It's so easy just to look up the values if you have a graded one, or if you're planning on sending off a grade to see what it's going to be worth. It's also going to have to do with the grade of the coin, the denomination, and the year, and whether it has a full date, as I said. You know, if you've got a raw one or you just want to know what, go to eBay, type in sold search for that, sold items. That way you can find the value for just a common date Lincoln cent, because one of them that you're not going to send off for grading. So you're basically, for a common date Lincoln cent, you're looking at around 10 bucks for an off center. And you know, if it doesn't have a date, probably about 5 bucks. So thanks for watching my latest video. Please like, share, and comment, and have a great day.